I'm on a roll, y'all, because I watched two, count them, two Oscar nominated films last week. Now let's talk about Anatomy of a Fall. I'm Shannan E. Johnson with The Professional Pen, where we develop screenwriters from idea to pitch. Need help on your screenplay? Go to www.theprofessionalpen.com. First of all, give the actors all the things. Give them all of the things. These actors, why didn't they win? It's like, okay, Emma Stone did okay. She did well, right? But give these actors, give them all of the things. This little boy, oh my God, fantastic. I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Bring back 90-minute films. And I enjoy this. But when I checked, I was like, I've been watching this for a long time. I finally paused so that I could see the runtime at the bottom. I have been watching for an hour and 44 minutes, and there were 47 more minutes to go. Why? Why? This movie could have been 2 hours, and I would have sat through it. I think it could have been closer to 90. But okay, we'll give it 2 hours. 2.5 hours, y'all. No, it's unnecessary. And the second act was the longest. It was the longest because, as you know, structurally, the second act is the movie. The second act is where you're actually doing the thing to get to the thing that you need. In this particular case, the court case, right, is the thing. She's trying to prove that she's innocent. So the second half is about investigating, et cetera, and then getting into the court case. And it was long, baby, because they showed us every single second of that court case. With that being said, I didn't need a resolution. This again felt like the director, not to say that it wasn't in the script, maybe it was, child, but it felt like the director just kind of wanted to show us these little moments with her lawyer that isn't going to go anywhere because she sees him as a friend, and with her son, because of course they finally got their relationship back together, but really they could have, finished the case. She could have gone home, hugged her child, or finished the case. And we already saw how his face lit up when he saw it on the news that she was acquitted. I'm out. Get me out. I did not need these other 15 minutes. I didn't need them. Maybe it wasn't 15. It might have been 10. I didn't need them. Get me out of here. So I don't have much on story. This was a simple whodunit. They did their due diligence of investigating from different sides. However, there was never another suspect. And I just don't think that that's very smart. I mean, maybe I watched too many movies, but like, y'all don't have another suspect. Like nobody else could have done something here. I mean, I guess they had the husband as a suspect. Did he do this himself or did she do this to him? Okay, we'll go with that. She was also a decently passive character. And it's because her life was the one on the line. And she was just thrown into the system. Like she had to put her life in the hands of the lawyer. And so we were in that position with her, which is a very scary place to be, right? Like we didn't want her to be guilty. We also didn't know if she was guilty. We still don't know who did it. Like the crazy thing about the law is the jury can say that you didn't do it, but if we weren't there, we don't know. So we don't know if she did it. Or we don't know if he possibly did it to himself. What I will say about the length of the court case is that it showed us what these kind of things do to children. I think it did a really good job of showing us how children can be affected by these kind of court cases. And Daniel, the child, was very, very mature. Now, I think that's because he was French. You know what I'm saying? Because in America, our children are not that mature. That's just a generalization that I'm making. But he was very mature with being able to take in the information and discern, left and right. And so I thought that part was great. I've been loving the way a lot of these films were shot this time around. I liked all the differing POVs. So even though she was our protagonist, we got to see things through other people's eyes. Often, for example, at the beginning, we leave with Daniel and go out on his walk. So we don't stay there with her. Obviously we can't because we can't know what happened, right? A lot of the times it looks like towards the beginning, it looks like we're seeing things through the dog's point of view, right? As he's walking through the house, I think it was a boy. As he's walking through the house, he might see a picture and we land on the picture of the dad because we never saw the dad before the accident. We only see him after or right before, right? And then after. And then we get to see him in flashback later. But I really liked how it was shot. I also appreciated how During the investigation stages, I felt like I was there, right? It didn't feel like they were shooting a film. It felt like they were shooting a demonstration so they can investigate what happened, which is what they're trying to do. But the fact that it felt that way versus feeling like we are shooting someone shooting the demonstration. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed all of the handheld moments, etc. So great job, director. Speaking of bring back 90-minute films, the flashback with the argument was long and redundant. Now, in real life, that's exactly how arguments are, because people don't know how to move on. People have to be right, so they're going to keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over. However, watching it in a film, they could have cut 5-10 minutes of that argument scene and it would have been the same scene. The same scene. This young man said the same thing over and over and over to her. Now, as I watched it, it made me think, who's the bad guy here? And even though either one of them could have been the bad guy, it still didn't seem like she would push him off of a roof. You know what I'm saying? But I said that to say they could have cut a lot of that argument scene, and they could have cut a lot of the court scenes, and we could have pushed through this thing a little bit faster. But how did you feel about it? I enjoyed it myself. Happy writing!
The professional pen. The professional